be minted.
Streaming is on.
That there would be, dynamically adjusting token supply rather than having like a max amount of tokens. It is a growing and shrinking amount. So I think that's
But that would be.
Go ahead.
But right, I mean that is then just an endless supply that really just depends on demand, right? Because I think I differentiate between endless supply in case of, it would be arbitrary anyway, and limited supply. Let's say the concert hall only holds 25,000 people. No matter how much more they want to pay, there's 25,000 tickets, right? So I think, I'm gonna leave the comment in because of the breathing economies part. I like that, but I'm not gonna do anything about it now. I think shelf. Well, okay. Next comment, Jeff. Shelf.
That's how we were talking about the vesting shelf, like a complete lock period for 2 months.
We usually call it a cliff.
Or cliff. That was it.
Vesting cliff. Okay, so that's until the cliff comes, all tokens are vested, and then it goes down day by day.
Yeah,
right.
And this is really valuable for to encourage speculation to come in, because once the hatch is done, then it's like open, and anyone can buy in, and everyone knows that the hatchers can't sell their tokens. So you have this it's very attractive to speculators in that moment.
Yeah, and then I guess you would make them with a logarithmic curve or something, unvest them.
Yes, exactly.
Or
it's
something like
that. There's the cliff, and you can see this in our ABC simulation. The commonstack.org/ABC is a really nice little. I think you've probably seen that.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay. So, the quantity-dependent vesting period. Oh, we're deep in technicalities.
So this comment was to talk about the different types of vesting that we can have. We can have a time unlock, which is like the basic like half-life curve or logarithmic curve. And then there's also the option for the KPI based vesting. So in other words, the more funds that move through the commons and the more proposals that get done, the faster your tokens unlock.
Yeah. Okay,
so
but then
no
that
action,
could be
then
other
there's no unlock.
Right?
Sorry, what's that?
The key performance indicators could be anything.
Yeah.
That is strongly related to our aim.
Right.
Okay.
The idea was to align the incentives between people who have put money into the system, that they are then engaged to making sure that this system is producing value so that they can receive their value that they've put in. So it's another alignment of incentives between investors and community.
Yeah. Okay, next one solved. We're still in general. Okay, mathematical function. Okay, sorry, I'm having a call right now. Okay, just a second.
Sure.
Hey, Annika. Du, kann ich dich in einer Stunde oder zwei zurückrufen? Ich habe gerade einen Business Call. Ha?
Achso, okay. Ciao.
Tschüss. All right. Okay, any mathematical function. Yeah, right. There was a question. I put it first as a controversial issue. Yeah. You know what, Jeff? I think I'll leave the simple ones out, and let's focus on the controversial ones.
Sure.
Right? Let's get into some debate, because yeah, the rest. Oh yeah, I think here we are in something more controversial, right? So that is about, and I'm actually writing about exactly this for the paper, the Frontiers paper. I'm just there in this question. Let's say, is a monetary system a commons? Because a monetary system always serves the circulation or the accumulation of exchange value, right? Monetary is always a representation of exchange. It's never use value in itself. So I'm basically building on this differentiation between a blockchain being put to use for exchange value on the one hand, or for use value on the other. And it is, I would argue that it's only if it is also, if a blockchain also serves the circulation of use value, that we could really call it a commons, or we should call it a full commons. And
it depends on how we define commons, right? If you look at David Bollier,
yeah,
and his definition of a commons, pretty much almost any kind of network between people could be considered a commons. So, because he defines it as the dynamic relationships between a community, the protocols that they use to govern shared resources. So the dynamic relationship between those things, and in the end, money and as an abstract concept in a shared value system, kind of like culture, ends up being a commons, all monies. But it's really how much you want to stretch that definition.
Right. But my task is to stay sharp on differentiation, right? Right. That's my whole work is kind of incorporating the blockchain commons into commons theory, but staying sharp on differentiations to other commons and really drawing out the specificities. Fuck. Something like that. So how we did continue that debate. So Jeff, you say that many CCs, cryptocurrencies today, suffer from the lack of exchange value because that limits their use value. So they're not being used. Many blockchains or cryptocurrencies are not being used because they barely have any exchange value.
Not even, I would say this, not for the cryptocurrency community currencies, because many of them are community currencies. Yeah. Right. So like, you look at existing systems like Berkshares or, the time dollars and whatnot, like they are effective, but they have very little use in terms of numbers and throughput. And I propose, and I'm not certain of this, but I think that if they had exchange value, that they would get a lot more use value because people could exchange them for goods and services in the real world, as opposed to just in this local community.
Yeah, but that's still exchange value, because use value is really what can you do with that thing, except for exchanging it for another thing, right? Exchange value is always you can exchange it for gold or whatever, for any other thing. So it becomes kind of abstract. It's abstract value. Use value is concrete value. The shovel is very useful to digging a hole, and I can also exchange my shovel for, I don't know, corn. But I can really actually dig a hole. With money, I can't dig the hole. I can only exchange it for a shovel and then dig the hole. So in abstract, it has this potential to do anything, but before that, I have to exchange it. So, I mean, it is really a tricky question, whether or it's a difficult question, I think, whether money has use value.
Right.
Because its use is to be exchanged for our things, right?
Right.
The
Right.
use value of money is its exchange value.
Right. So I guess in this context, the way I was looking at it is like use value is using that currency within the community. So for example, in the community CIC potluck, a whole bunch of people have said, like I said, for example, I'm willing to work, 40 hours or something, $2,000 worth of labor for a token. So in my mind, the use of that token within that community is to pay, people for their services within that community. And the exchange value of that token is the value you can get for trading that token into another economy or another currency. But I mean, this is like one view on it. I guess in both cases, you are exchanging that token for something, whether that is like a service in your local community or another token from another community. It is, I suppose, both exchange value, but that's the distinction in my mind, was like using the token within the community for which it was created or exchanging that token to another community.
And can I just build off that?
Really difficult.
Can I build off that for a second?
Please.
Because I think the use value of a currency is better seen from when you have multiple currencies at play. And I just linked an article that was shared in the CCA by Matthew Slater, and he pulled out a quote. I honestly haven't even read the article, but I did read the context around the quote that he wrote because I thought it was really valuable, and that it's you can see the use value when you look at why people don't accept multiple currencies, and it's like the user experience of adding an extra like kind of currency to your market, to your place of business or your point of sale, increases friction. And so the use value of that currency needs to be higher than the friction that it takes for you to accept it and convert it and use it in your own world. And when you see it from that multi-currency perspective, it's very obvious that different currencies have different uses and use value. But I can see when you look at it from an abstract level of like just money, that money doesn't have its own utility, but different currencies have their own utility,
Yeah. Man, it's really tricky.
Yeah.
I don't know a solution right now to this because, you do raise good points, right? And I think that Emmeline in the Frontiers in paper makes a similar argument. She says that let's say the money that Holochain wants to build is for a breathing economy with a breathing supply that mirrors the actual production there, and thus has a completely different use value, let's say, than Bitcoin, which has a predetermined supply where it's a great store of value. That's useful if you want to store your value. It's not very useful if you want to do commerce.
I think it's also going back to what Emmeline said on that paper is there's like targeted currencies or targeted money, or like as Sherman mentions, purpose-driven. So like purpose-driven money, that the use of that money is for a specific like community goal, and then the exchange of that is like where the bonding curve comes in. So that's in my thought. But yeah, I agree with you. It is a little tricky. But if we consider fiat like the like least like the ocean, the least purposeful. You put a bucket in the ocean, you take a bucket out of the ocean, it doesn't make a difference. But in these like
general
or targeted currencies, I think they do have more of a use value and an exchange value definition than fiat would. But I agree. I don't think it's like clearly. I think we're defining these things as we talk about them, really.
Yeah.
Right. If you want to go down the Holochain road of currencies, you're gonna go. It's gonna get wild. I mean, they basically say that your college degree is a currency. It's a novel type of currency that we should be designing with as a tools. But whoa, money gets big, you know, and like you said, you're trying to define things and separate them. So like, you're gonna have to fight Jeff and I because we just want to say everything, you know, is money kind of thing.
Yeah, but you know, in the end, the problem becomes everything is everything. If you go too far and push the boundaries too far, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
we're all one, man.
So I'm gonna leave that just with a clarification what I meant. Okay, you dropped a link in there as well. Okay, so basically the point you are making is that the bonding curve increases the use value of many currencies because they become useful even if they have very small community backing them or using them.
Exactly.
And especially
Okay,
on the liquidity side. Especially on the liquidity side.
All right. I'm just gonna sum that up quickly. Okay, got that. So now we are actually in the code. Okay, so I commented something. Let's look first at Jeff's comment. Yeah, Jeff, you want to get rid of the suppressing the acting out of selfish behavior. But to be honest, that is really a theme that I felt, especially in conversations with Griff. That Griff, you had this very often this picture of up to now, if you want to do good, you have to cut in your own flesh, basically. And you want to get to a position or a situation where you can do good without having to feel the pain yourself.
Yeah,
So
I mean, the real context that we've evolved for describing this is the like excludable goods versus non-excludable goods, and that the people who are providing non-excludable goods, generally nonprofits, you know, social justice warriors, governments, all these guys that are fighting for you know, value that is shared by all, they're creating value, but they're not being rewarded for it by our market. So we just want to, and I think that's the basic idea. And it's like, why should you, the idea that you have to be altruistic to do good work, I mean, that's kind of sad, right?
Yeah. Then would the opposite be being selfish and do good work? Like the opposite of altruistic, right?
Yeah.
Or the alternative to altruistic would be selfish. Like self-serving.
Yeah, I think self-serving is probably better.
Yeah.
And
can we agree, compromise on that? Self-serving.
This is definitely his comment, so I should let him.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with that. I guess I was just trying to focus more on like the positive affirmation rather than the like restricting the negative, like affirming the positive, just going for that focus. But I agree, it is both.
But I mean, you know, like for me, this was the most puzzling and fascinating premise of yours, that you claim that you can actually overcome this conflict. And that, to me, is a huge claim. Like if that were to really fly and to really scale, you would have hacked society. And I'm still doubting it, because I still see many problems. But let's say I'm much more sold than when I visited you guys in Chiang Mai.
Nice.
So I think I can change that to self-serving, but like, you know, I have to attack this or attack. I mean, attacking it is also in your interest, right? Because if my attacks fail, I consider it good work.
Yeah.
And if your attacks succeed, then we
Which is also why I try to shoot everything at it that I have.
definitely.
Well, yeah, I know that you guys don't mind.
Love it. I mean, the
Cool.
two things I would say is there's business models and economic models. And with economic models, you can do a lot more. I mean, look at what the Federal Reserve is doing to the U.S. stock market right now. They're just issuing money to make the stock market go up. That's in some way they're creating anyone who's in the stock market. It's like, yay, just the issuance of money. And I think more applicable is the work that has been done by Primecoin, CureCoin, and these other blockchain entities. Penvala is another one. And basically, by the issuance of money, using the issuance of money, you can reward value. You just have to tie the issuance of money to the actual value being produced for the non-excludable good being produced, right? If you tie the issuance of money to the production of a non-excludable good, boom.
Yeah. But then, okay, quick question. What would be the difference to a state controlling the central bank and just printing money to, serve the commons?
Nothing, that'd be great.
Not much, right?
But,
Okay, it would be a central control and states have their own problems. That's pretty close. You just want a decentralized version of that.
No, we want a polycentric version of that. So instead of having one government deciding all of the public goods verticals that should be supported, having each public goods vertical have multiple government-style economic systems competing to provide that service.
Okay.
So that's the big difference. Instead of one monopoly government that just says, I'm Donald Trump and I know who should be Department of Education and the Secretary of War, and
because you're a genius.
Yeah.
You're such a genius.
He's revolutionary.
Stable genius.
So instead, let's have small communities of experts competing to provide that service in a way where they're rewarded for providing it. And that's the general premise.
Okay. I think it's good that you record this. I have to go back to this. I don't want to spend too much time on taking notes now, but I really like that what you just said. So Felix, write that down.
Felix, remember this moment.
Okay, cool. So
did I lose you guys? Oh, there we go.
No, Felix just started taking notes.
Okay, now we are in. No, I'm just scrolling down. Now we are in the minimum viable commons. Did you change from minimum viable commons to something else?
We don't have a name for it yet, but yeah.
So the reason we switched away from the minimum viable commons was we're doing this iterative approach. At least this has been our strategy up until now. And we were going to launch, iteration 1 commons, 2 commons, 3 commons, and then the last one was the minimum viable commons. And we didn't want to slight the commons that came before the minimum viable commons, saying they're not minimally viable, even though they're not really. But we have stepped back from the term minimum viable commons, and we're just going with the commons for the time being.
Okay. All right.
I guess we could say cyber physical common is also one.
That's a good one. Yeah, I've been
have to edit that everywhere. But
I've been saying informally our flagship commons design, because in the end there are a lot of different types of commons, and it just depends on what you're talking about. Like source cred, probably a better commons than ours. Honestly, I like it more, because it bootstraps the economy with labor, and that feels cleaner, you know, because money just sucks to work with in general. But we bootstrap these economies with funding, you know, and that's like that's the difference. But source credit is a commons, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway. Did I freeze? No. Definitely. He froze. Felix froze.
Oh yeah, I can see you. Yeah, I see.
Maybe I should look at source credit for just a bit.
Source credit's incredible, man. Probably my favorite commons focused project, besides of course my own. Definitely one of my favorite projects that I'm not working on at all.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you guys know Disco was supposed to be my third. I'm still open for suggestions. Like I'm for next semester, I'm gonna go through EXA, and that's gonna be a hell of a work because they're crazy. But after that, yeah, depending on my time, it might be this study. You know, if like in terms of tech.
I would say
so. It might be more interesting to go in.
I would say wait until the moment that you're ready to make the decision and then ask us then, because shit just changes so fucking fast, man. It's like you said, Disco, you know, but who knows what source credit will be up to? Who knows?
Absolutely.
What Roots will be up to?
Yeah. Right. Once I'm looking for a new case, I'm gonna ask you guys again. So grassroots economics is included somewhere. And IXO, yeah, sure, we'll mention it. Electroseed Fund, did they die off, Griff? Did they?
Jeff, maybe you know, but I know Shebnem's not working on it much.
Oh, really? Isn't it her? Well, yeah, I know she had funding for a time frame, and had some like deliverables to meet. I don't know what is the current state of that. As far as I know, the project is still active. This is like the solar tainers in Shebnem. Sorry, not Sherman.
Yeah, it's SEBNEM.
Okay, yeah,
I'm not
the
sure
Shebnem
where-
Ruzicka.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
But it's no H. I don't know what language that is, but there's no H in Shebnem, and it's SEBNEM.
Yeah.
Okay, no, but I know who it is.
Yeah, so I believe they're still working on stuff, but I can't say what their funding situation or deliverables are like at the moment. I haven't chatted with her about that.
For me, it was a side comment. She just said something like, "Oh yeah," and then we got stopped by this, and we decided that we just should stop the project. And who knows if that was just like, you know, her on a bad day, and it wasn't like, you know, oh yeah, no, this has been decided, or if it was like, oh yeah, I decided that last week, and this is just something that's happened. That's why I'm diving all my energy into the token engineering book, the academy. I mean, like, I just don't know where she would have the time to even be working on this project.
True.
Okay. So just asking, because I'm now in the description of you guys, are you fine with that, where I depicted you?
Yeah.
Yep. No problems there.
I didn't even read it. I don't care how you depict me.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you're the crypto anarchist. Orla is the anarchist. That's fine.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, I just had to give you some half-page description each.
Crypto anarchist is a good keyword description.
Okay, yeah, Jeff, the pictures, they suck. I don't know what happened. I dropped them in just for you guys to see them in the proper doc that I have. They are they are well centered, formatted. Yeah.
Did you need help with those pictures?
Just sucks the conversion from.
Oh, okay, just the conversion.
Huh? I might, but I mean, that.
I mean, they look.
I'm only gonna really brush this up, I guess, in like earliest in spring. I'm gonna brush it up and also finish the second part that is more the discourse analysis. So analyzing your narrative, implicit ideological positions and stuff like that. I still want to do that. It's part of my work, but so on the one hand, right, that was in the informal closing remarks that I want to give you guys time to develop, because when I met you first, you were a young project. Everything was developing very fast, and also I only had a snapshot of, I don't know, 10 days, and that's in any way it's not a full picture. So this is still taking time, and then when I do the final brush up, I have to go through everything again anyway, check any project that I mentioned if they're still there, and I'm gonna have to check a lot of facts with you guys again. And then I might also need better pictures, like whatever you have. We're gonna do a final review session then again. So picture.
Just while I'm thinking about Jeff, I just basically made a deal with Marco to be my personal designer. So, all those pictures that you want, like, just tell me. And Marco has a Trello board. You can literally just put it on his Trello board, and then
Nice.
and we'll talk about it.
Nice. I love it. If you have a link to that, or we can
I'll
chat
send
about
it.
individual images, and we can chat further, because that is awesome.
Yeah, it's just too much value. Have to do it.
Cool.
Okay, so yeah, we're going away from the minimum viable commons to the common stack's flagship design and its roadmap. Yeah, works for me. Yeah.
The dreams are big and the common stack.
Thanks, Griff.
It's too much scope, 100%. But the dream is that the common stack is a place where anyone can go and they can use source cred. They can use grassroots economics' CIC model. They can use the common stack's flagship model with the ABC and conviction voting. They can ideally be plugging in different pieces, and that's the long-term vision. But it's not anywhere. It's too big a scope for us right now. So, for a nonprofit like crypto project,
yeah, I know.
That's
I know.
You put Jeff and I in a room, and the room gets bigger just to hold the scope.
Yeah, right. I still remember. Oh, but that's nice. We need that kind of energy, right? Okay, so next few comments. Yeah, quadratic voting. Yeah, okay. But now that we go from MVC towards a flagship or just a commons vision of the common stack, I think I can just leave that in. Never mind. Comment open. So iteration 5. We're getting rid of this for now. The cyber physical commons. Well,
at least,
all right.
At least it's just like we're not talking about it much. I don't think, right, Jeff? I mean, I don't think that we should really go into 5. It's just too confusing.
Yeah, no, I think that was kind of like all the bells and whistles that we wanted to include got lumped into iteration 5, and just given the difficulty of raising funds for all of this stuff so far, we've figured we can leave off talking about the bells and whistles and the big price tag for iteration 5.
Sure. By the way, how's it going with the recent pump? I mean, in terms of raising.
Oh, I mean, I think better, but like, I don't know. I feel like hopefully we're getting a little bit better organized with we just hired a project manager that I really like. And has lots of experience in the crypto space. And I hope that they're going to add a lot of value here. So, and then hopefully
We've been yield farming like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I know my personal finances have been doing really well. But and actually, yeah, and I am using
treasury. Yeah,
I am using the common stack. I put like about 10% of the common stack treasury in some high risk, high reward investments, and it's done very well. So, although I did lose money on the end, I've been able to overcome the rest. That loss.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Griff, if we ever meet again in person, like if that Corona shit ever is behind us, would you mind showing me a bit of DeFi and helping me set up something? Because I know I'm just not getting into it because I don't want to invest so much time, or I don't have the time at the moment and the concentration to really check it all myself. But if you could give me a little push, that would be great.
Yeah, I mean, I can send you, like, the thing is the challenge is right now.
Just eventually.
Yeah, the space changes so quickly that it's just it's hard to keep up, and things that are a good idea this week are a bad idea next week.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you,
Mm-hmm.
I can send you something that I sent a couple of people.
Okay.
It all depends. Like, if you have a lot of ether, or I mean. Mm-hmm. Then there's like a really nice play that I have right now. If you have just DAI, then you can do the second half of the play. But since MakerDAO is just this really quick aside, since MakerDAO has like a 0 free interest rate, you can get DAI, and then take that DAI, and you can put ether in a MakerDAO CDP, take that DAI, and then put it into some of these like crazy DeFi mining, yield farming projects. And there's one that I've beta tested and trust, the YFII. And basically, just by putting your DAI in a pool that's 98% DAI and 2% YFII, they print money and give it to you, And I think the most important thing I've learned in crypto is you want to be the person, and in economics in general, you want to be the person receiving the money that's being printed. That's just a good strategy, Like when the money hits you, it hasn't inflated the market, right? Like the inflation hasn't happened. The issuance has happened, but inflation hasn't. And that's a magical place to be in. And so all this yield farming stuff is basically a whole lot of that, right? It's like, catch the issuance, and then you do the inflation. It's simple and horrible and very plutocratic. Like with the gas fees the way they are, it only really works if you have, like, I would say for 40 or 50 ether, if you have that, then it's a no-brainer. Or if you have like 5,000 DAI, then yeah, then you can make money off this on the gas fees without too much risk.
Yeah. I mean, by now I should have way over that again.
Yeah.
Like, we can do shit. Yeah, cool. I mean, let's keep that a separate discussion, right?
Yeah.
Maybe once I have a bit more time, I'm going to come back to that. But please send me what you have if it's not a hassle for you. So yeah, let's continue. Really nice line. The ABC is designed as the economic heart of the common stacks MVC. Okay, yeah, thanks, Griff. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna get rid of that. So, are we talking about the flagship commons? Or will you just? I mean, I can also leave it open for now because in the end, I'm gonna have to rename it anyway. according to how you name it by the time I hand it in. Yeah, let's just leave it. Because
Yeah, that sounds good. Sorry.
doesn't really matter. All right. Ah. Oh, I'm offline. Am I? Or is it just Google Docs? Fuck.
I can still hear you. Did we lose Griff?
Okay.
No, Griff's still there. Yeah.
So it's Google Docs. Wait a sec.
Well, I just sent you guys both the walkthroughs for doing that thing.
Oh, we just lost Felix.
But let me just say that the thing that I just linked is pretty time dependent. Like if you don't do it by tomorrow, really, or the next day, like because the rewards have every week. So like, you know, the profit of the gas costs of doing it kind of determine your profitability.
Right. You're saying do this right away.
Yeah, I would do it right away. I would put a bunch of ether in a CDP, put some dye in, and you know, we get some dye and then play the game. And if you have 50 ether, then you're golden. You'll make silly money for no reason and still be able to speculate on ether. Like, it's incredible.
Do you see this collapsing in any way? This is why I haven't really
Okay,
got.
I'm starting to hear you again.
We'll talk about it later. Oh, hey, your face. That's nice. I like
Love that beard. Yeah.
Uh,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's a proper Corona. I shaved my head at the beginning of Corona, and now I let the beard grow until it finishes.
Like a chia pet.
So wait, so the beard and the hair are the same time? Like you were clean all
No,
the
I think I cut the beard in between because the hair is already like that. You see, but I have to cut it again. It starts, oh, man, it gets gray, like hard gray, 50% gray. Fuck. Yeah.
You're a silver fox. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, man. It's coming in for me too.
Damn.
Griff's got some of that from the Dow days.
Oh yeah, that's where it started. And now the common stock is starting to grow.
Yeah, well, I feel
Had a
you.
good year of like things were chill.
Uh-huh. No, you really see the stress in the hair. Yeah, absolutely. No, where were we? Oh. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen. No.
I lost him again.
But yeah, what were you just saying before about the yellow farming?
You know, what is the collapsing ecosystem risk? I mean, I guess everything is kind of at risk if it collapses anyway, right?
Yeah, I mean that's the nice thing here is that you're 98% DAI, 2% this other token. The main risk is like smart contract risk, and hey, you know, fuck, can't do much there. The main thing here is that I've been playing with this contract for almost a month. I know I've done so much research on it that I'm like really confident here. So I would say it's a low risk, high-ish reward. But yeah, I feel pretty good about the community that's behind the token, their innovation, their ability to continue to create cool things, and the supply and all that stuff. Like Wi-Fi 2 has a really good upside of trying to be like the Litecoin to Wi-Fi's Bitcoin, you know, like Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And they have like some good Chinese Fox Mining and Dovey, who are like Asian influencers. Well, Fox Mining is an influencer in general, but Dovey is like the Chinese American influencer, one of probably the top female one. And they're pretty involved, so I feel pretty good about it. The main thing is that you will, if you have 100 Ether, you will get one Wi-Fi a day, and one Wi-Fi is $900.
Whoa.
But that's just this week, and then after that, you get half a Wi-Fi a day, right?
Gotcha.
And then a quarter. And so if you put it in now, then you get that big boost at the front, and then you can just let it sit there until you're like, oh, I need to die. You know.
Gotcha. So are you pulling? Yeah, I guess that's worth pulling some ETH out of cold storage for. Not even just playing with my MetaMask stuff. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, if you have ETH in cold storage, leave it in the ledger, and then fight through the ledger's UX to put it in a MakerDAO vault.
Oh yeah.
And then and then it's still in cold storage, you know.
Okay.
That's what I did. Actually, I gave. I did it once with Lorelei, and I have a bunch of these wallets, and I just gave her a couple $100 to fit. Oh, the ledger UX is just like kill me. I couldn't do it. Lorelei, like just go through my ledger and do these steps. That's why I have the steps labeled out, and there are a couple missing steps. So you'll run into some stops, but you can. I believe in you.
Me too. I've been meaning to do a DeFi finance day for a while, so we'll work through this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry.
I have to do the same. I'm back. I disconnected, and I kept on talking. And
That's okay. So we're going back to shared screen. We haven't gotten to all my juicy comments. Damn it! And we lost them again.
Man, those Austrians, they're
Dude,
horrible internet.
I don't know what it is wrong with the German side of Europe, but they just fucking suck at internet.
Yeah, man. German internet. Something wrong, seriously.
And it's Kai, it's Austria too. Like Kai's internet is always shit. It doesn't matter what he does, and it's not like he's not trying, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, Berlin's the worst. That's just a joke. I don't know why Ethereum settled there when they have such shit internet.
That's where the Ethereum Foundation is?
Yeah, and most of the Ethereum, like if you had to pick one Ethereum city, it's Berlin. Like of all the cities in the world, Berlin's kind of the hub. Token Engineering Gathering was there, right?
Yep. Yeah, true that.
DevCon 0 was there.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's only 30 people, but...
When did you start on that? Were you at 1 or 2?
I didn't go to one, but Slockit presented at one, and I supported the creation of Slockit, Slockit's slides and shit. Dude, we did a live demo. Crazy. I was skeptical. I was skeptical, but Stefan Qual got up there and made a cup of tea while Christoph made a transaction on Ethereum to like pay the node to turn on the power to the tea.
Nice.
So like, yeah, it's probably one of the first like IoT uses of Ethereum on stage. Anyway, hey man.
Yeah. Okay. Let's try again.
Yeah.
What happened? So Griff, there was this question, right? So I'm assuming in my analysis, I'm assuming that actors are maximizing for either power or profit. I mean, that is a hostile assumption, let's say, right? That is an actor that doesn't care for your common good. It's just, you know, some profit maximizing actor or power maximizing actor that wants to take advantage. that is why I had to. I'm also writing in the comment that it's an almost hostile assumption, but I want to stress test your system because if it's otherwise someone comes and exploits it, and that's what we really want to.
Can you share screen because I don't know exactly where you're at.
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna. And my connection dies again.
No, you're here. You're still here.
So I am.
If it dies again, we can stop.
Okay. Yeah. Good. I'm reconnecting. Yeah. But so I'm here. Just basically explaining my assumptions. So the analysis I'm gonna do. It's a threat analysis, a linear threat analysis, because I can't do complex analysis, but let's do at least a linear one. And just for matters of simplicity, I'm assuming they're maximizing either for profit or for power. And then so Jeff Clark.
Damn it. You know where he is in this document?
He was on the last I saw.
Like when I click his cursor, maybe he's in a different, maybe it's, no. Like when I click it where his cursor is, I don't.
Goes to small number, yeah?
Yeah, but I don't think he's talking about the small number.
No.
Okay, Felix, I've got an idea. No worry about sharing screen. No worry about showing video, right? Hey, Felix, I've got an idea. Can you hear me? Felix?
Nope, he's frozen.
Damn it. Maybe
we should just migrate everyone to the West Coast. Come on, everybody, Cascadia.
Yeah, Vancouver, yeah. Or Tijuana. Yeah. Totally into it. I'm not going to take anyone down with me here, man.
True. Okay.
Hey,
north or south of the wall.
Yeah.
That middle section is a no man's land.
Who would have thought Trump's wall was a great idea for the world?
Yeah. We need more walls around America. Let's be straight up.
Let's just get one giant wall here and keep it in. I mean, it seems like the way the world started creating the American passport, it sure feels like the wall. Hey,
sorry. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. I don't know what's happening. I'm in a house full with techies, and they don't get the internet to really work.
Dude, Austria and Germany just has bad internet. This is just an accepted fact. But I have an idea. Instead of sharing screen and probably even turn off the video, let's go to where when you're going into I can follow your cursor. So if you just highlight sections of text, I can see it.
Okay, but if I change connection, I have a good feeling about it now. Let's try it one last time, okay? If that doesn't work.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'm always going to ramble.
Okay, screen sharing is on.
Yeah.
And now we are here. So we have this, right? I'm assuming actors maximize for either profit and power. That is, it's a stress test, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm not assuming that all the actors will be, but what if? What if there is a considerable amount of actors that really want power or profit? And they want to take advantage of you guys or of the other ones.
Yeah.
I think you have to build a system that can deal with this.
Absolutely.
She says. Really good.
Couldn't agree more.
Okay, so that's fine. It's lower.
And I would say that in our current thoughts and designs, we are very focused on the profit side. And I think it's a very acute awareness to also look at the power side.
Mm-hmm. In the end, so talking about power, I defined power as relative personal control over an amount of funds, right?
if I want power, I want power over the maximum amount of funds to distribute to somewhere. Not necessarily to myself, but to my vision of doing good. That's the difference too. But then in the end, it's not much of a difference because it always be, yeah, I want a power over the funds, and then they go to me. Like that would be power. And
So now I have a headset that should work better. Does it?
Yeah,
Okay, great.
it's very nice and clear. It's not like we do on podcast. Oh, and now I can't hear you, so never mind. We lost you, Felix.
I'm going to deal with that. It's not controversial. You lost me.
Oh, now you're back.
I'm back. Okay, I'm back. Are you still following my screen?
Yes.
Great. Okay, that's all not controversial. Small number. So. Such a whether this condition is fulfilled by a very big funding pool. Small number of tokens.
I think that's all you need to say is of tokens, and then it's fixed.
So let's do like this. And it works. So now we are here. Low taxes. High taxes. Okay, you like it, Griff.
Mm-hmm.
I like it that you like it. Okay, let's
I do think it would be nice. I do think that there is this assessment that you're only stress testing. It would be nice if you also say, guess what? There are altruistic people that are constantly donating in this world at their own expense, and they might be in a low tax environment. What do they think?
Look, that was one of the feedbacks I got from my professor, who said that this analysis it's not false, but it's very simplistic. And I should also include other motivations and think more about positive motivations as well. So yeah, I mean, I'm right. I highlighted now this next sentence that any philanthropic motivations to give up individual for common benefit will not be considered here for now, because they would only help the system, and in a stress test, right? I'm assuming the worst.
It's fine. It's fine.
But okay, works. Okay, I'm gonna resolve that then.
I mean, it's a good sentence. I mean, part of the design is that we limit the entrance to the system, the hatch, to like, and actively, socially, and we do all of the effort that we can to make sure that we have a starting trusted seed.
Yeah.
So like,
right. Yeah, I didn't consider that at all in my stress test, right? Yeah. So I'm assuming that people, take disguises and play all these games, and in the end they only want. But yeah, it is really it's not under, let's say, realistic conditions. It's the worst case conditions that I'm assuming.
Yeah, and like even the worst case conditions, the worst case conditions are that the EVM has a bug. And
okay, yeah.
Sure. So like, even though these are edge cases, like I feel like it is valuable to say somewhere, like in the common stack design, there is this concept of a trusted seed of hatchers that are for the very important initialization piece. They limit from try to limit corrupt individuals. But what we don't limit right now, and I think that your paper pointed out that I wasn't fully aware of and thoughtful of, is the power and governance side of things. We're only limiting it for people who are altruistically minded, as in value driven, not profit driven. But we're not going. I had no concept of limiting people from being power driven. And I think it's a valuable critique.
Okay, cool. Cool. So next, taxation. You don't use the term taxation, but tribute, that's fine. I can change that and give a footnote on exactly that. That's actually nice. It's a part of discourse of your narrative, and I can use that. So okay. The term convicting and collective aggregation of signaled preferences, and you disagree. Voting implies deciding, yeah. Signaling would be more okay, yeah. Right, signaling is not binding, right?
Yeah,
Usually.
that's why voting versus signaling. I mean, words are hard for sure, but we have to pick one.
Okay, look, I'm gonna leave your comment in there. It's good, and I'm gonna think about a third word, and yeah, let's try. But I agree.
What one hive uses is conviction funding.
Right.
Right.
Okay, yeah, because it is about funding in the end.
Yeah. What Chris or Jeff, do you remember the other words they use? They have conviction funding, conviction signaling, and I guess conviction voting.
And I think conviction voting was the third, yeah. So I mean, in terms of like specific naming of these things, yeah, conviction voting, I mean, has been the first kind of like round of it, but there are multiple different flavors, I guess is the word that we've been using for that.
And what do you do you remember what they say conviction voting is? How it's different than funding? I guess is it just voting on ideas? I don't remember.
I guess conviction voting and conviction funding are probably pretty similar. And then, the other like big use case is like the dynamic average consensus, where you're setting like a community parameter, whether it's like the tax rate or the UBI rate or whatever, you know, it maybe go between 5 to 10%, and everyone feeds in a signal, and then the the dynamic average consensus is a dynamic parameter as decided by the community. So that, I don't know that we've really like locked in on hard names for all of these different types of conviction voting.
That's really cool, man. They should use that for gas price in Ethereum, because right now it's just miners say what the gas price is, and they can change it whenever they want. There's no weight to having a strong held opinion.
Really?
Yeah. And here, that seems like a really clear use case where it's like when someone with a lot of mining power changes the gas price, guess what? Everyone gets to see that this is happening. You know,
right.
Now there's better communication about this this potential change.
Totally. That'd be huge. I didn't realize that's how it was set.
Yeah, they just
guys.
Yeah,
guys, just not to stress, but we have like 13 minutes left. I want to have at least 5 of them for the house. So antedating, are you stuck on the word? Is it not a word that you use in English?
I'm not getting my PhD in anything right now, so I don't know this word.
I got that word from dict.cc, which is German to English translation. I want to say predating.
Predating,
I think it's predating. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so that's done. I still want to get to the work part. So yeah, okay. The MVC is plutocratic, in a way, all else being equal. This is missing for the Yeah,
so I'm gonna add a comment here from Zargam, and I don't know if he sent you the exact same thing or something a little bit different, but he was basically saying that conviction voting is the mechanism itself doesn't actually determine how you get the right to vote or how proposals get on the docket, but only the means of computing those results over time. So I'm just going to drop he sent me like a series of Telegram messages when I sent him this.
Yeah, please.
So I'll just drop it in the
I mean, I have to
here.
dig through them. He also very complicated comment on conviction voting, and I haven't seen through it yet.
So I think his main point is that there's an explicit trade-off between Sybil resistance and plutocracy, because in the democratic version, like you could allocate.
No, I agree. I agree.
Okay, cool.
I agree.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna incorporate that a bit more. This discussion. Yeah. Okay. Also agreed. Blah blah. Yeah. Okay. We need identity, but that's. I think that's more and more becoming an accepted. A fact that any communist vision on the blockchain needs identity.
Yeah.
I mean, any vision of anything on the blockchain
Okay.
identity. I mean, it's ridiculous to think that we don't need
Yeah.
to be able to at least prove someone's a bot versus a human. You know, there's so many applications there. The big thing I want to stress about the conviction voting plutocracy is, like Jeff said and Zargam said, is that what the base currency is, it doesn't have to be money, right? So conviction voting's currency could be reputation. It could be even one person, one vote. It doesn't. The actual use of it in the common stack, however, is plutocratic. So I think it's fine. But like for the wider design of conviction voting, it doesn't have to be money. The main aspect is this. You know, time, having a time dimension in the voting.
Okay. Yeah, I like that, and I want to write it down.
It's being recorded.
Yeah. So, just quickly.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other piece is
good.
my comment on the default setting. You mentioned that there's a default setting for MVC, and we don't have a default setting. I don't know if you follow Gitcoin grants and how they use quadratic voting. So, if you follow them, like you can see that they've made the settings very one person, one vote. They're very like quadratic funding in general is a mix of plutocracy and identity, right? So they use conviction voting is the same, except it's a mix of time and plutocracy. So or tokenocracy, if you want to say. So
tokenocracy is better. Makes it more complicated, but really better.
It's cleaner, at least. It doesn't come with the same tinge. But if you tune it,
nobody understands it, but it's accurate.
If you tune conviction voting really hard toward the time aspect, then one person, like people with very few tokens but strongly held beliefs and convictions, will have more power than a whale that changes their vote. So you can, because of how strongly you tune it, is so important on how it can really decides how plutocratic an issue is. Because like what's really interesting there is like if you're passing proposals and a whale passes a proposal and it's tuned really hard, they had to wait for their money to grow, and while that's growing, someone with fewer tokens can put their money behind a proposal, and yes, it will take longer, but the whale won't always get their way, because eventually the small person can build up their voting power, and maybe it takes 6 months, but even with just few tokens and a lot of time, now you have the ability to pass proposals. proposals, which you wouldn't have in a pure plutocratic system.
Yeah. Agree. Okay, so I'm really rushing through it now. I want to find the controversial parts.
That was the biggest controversy for me in this whole paper is
Conviction voting.
and how
Okay, yeah.
and the tone that you have against plutocracy. I feel it. I love it. But there's opportunity with conviction voting to do a lot of cool shit. That's not.
No, I see that, and I see that I didn't depict it that well yet, and I'm gonna put some effort to do that because you do have a point. Okay, next, extracting the funding pool and remaining collateral. So that's an attack. Jeff, you say that it's impossible to do both, but I say if you do it in iterative steps, like always preserving yourself to 51%, I think it's possible. Like, you know,
It'd be good to model.
Well, you know, let's see next year if we have the camp here, we can model it.
I mean, the big piece here is yes, it's possible, but in the time that it takes to do that, everyone else is just going to leave, and the token value that people have.
Yeah, but then, you know, I in my analysis I look at if I'm the attacker, I enter, I take over 51%, and then I use all the channels to actually scare out all the others and tell them, look, I took over your commons, fuck off, and do it quick because others are gonna fuck off as well. So run for your money now, or you're gonna be the sucker. Like I want to kick all of you out and take all the rest. But there are situations in which this is profitable for me.
That's very possible in a very high tax environment. It would have to be a high tax environment.
Exactly.
It wouldn't work in a low tax environment because and also it depends on
this attack.
Because if you're also if there isn't much money in the curve, then that's a different scenario than if there is a lot of money in the reserve.
Yeah, agree. Griff, look at what I highlighted. This is exactly the conditions under which this attack is successful.
Yeah.
Right? The loot has to be plus pending taxes has to be bigger than the loss that I incur through entering high and selling low.
And these are things that can be really observed well and monitored by the Commons dashboard.
Exactly. Like that would be, I think, should be a strong warning again if you get close to this condition.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Nothing. So best. Okay. Yeah. Was there anything? Yeah. Now I think for me the biggest controversy is on the one hand the campaign. So we have the campaign manager who appoints the campaign reviewer. But then isn't the job of the campaign manager, the campaign reviewer to basically scrutinize the work of the manager?
Yeah.
So if I were a fraudulent manager, I would appoint my best friend as reviewer who would, wave me through and never raise any flag, and then we would pull it off together.
But
in my opinion, the reviewer has to be separate from the manager.
But the reviewer, the campaign manager needs to approve their reviewer, don't they? They can't. How do we? They are creating their own organization, and part of that.
Yeah, but I mean, I think I wrote it somewhere that in my understanding, it would have to be the funders who appoint the reviewer, let's say, and the manager who agrees to this appointment or has a veto.
So
something like that.
And that could happen if we had an organized set of funders, right? But in a decentralized environment, what the funders do is before they donate, it's very clear. Here's the campaign manager and here's the campaign reviewer. And if that's clear, like people can rate campaigns. Like what I would rather have is a third-party reviewer, a third-party certification agency that actually goes through and gives like ratings to different organizations, right? Just like you have the charity navigator,
Yeah.
It's
I see.
In the end, it's like this is your charity. You create it. You could even name your. I think we actually make it in the front end. You can't name yourself as reviewer. You have to go find a second reviewer. And also on the campaign reviewers and reviewers in general, we have a whitelist of reviewers. And so right on the front end, so only people who Giveth has approved can be reviewers. So currently,
okay, that's interesting.
On our front end, there is a centralized aspect, but it's only on the front end. In the smart contracts, you can put any address as a reviewer. But on the front end, and if you want your shit to be displayed on our website, you can. There's a list of reviewers that you can choose.
Yeah, I see. Okay, it's only on front end. We are running out of time. I don't know how it is for you to go over like 5 minutes.
I can go over, but maybe I should just shut up and let Jeff talk.
I'm good to go another 5, and then I do need to take a break before my next calls this afternoon.
Okay. Griff, I don't know if we can really go into the workers' critique, because that is for me a hard point. I need some more preparation, and I think that could be a lengthy debate, and I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. Fine.
Okay,
We'll
cool.
do it later.
Are you okay? Yeah, we exclude that for now.
Fine.
And Jeff, you also have a say, because we already debated that, right?
Yeah.
So I think, we have to wait. Okay, Commons dashboard. Yeah, it's complex, but it's so for the user not. Okay, do you guys mind? Do you mind if we close it now and I show you a bit of the house?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Because I really want to do that. I really want to do that.
And
So
I think there's so much here to unpack as well. Like we can, I don't know what your like publication timeline is like, but we can definitely do another session talking through all this, because honestly, like your analysis has really helped to like crystallize some of these concepts, I think, for the team, and opened up the discussion. So I think this is really valuable for sure.
cool. Happy to hear that. Okay, guys, very quickly. The story. My father left this house 3 years ago, and it's massive. Like, it's an old restaurant in the countryside, and my brother is hosting a 3-week. It's one week boot camp with workshops and stuff, and then 2 weeks retreat, planning new projects. And so this is the main hall.
Hacker?
Nice.
Huh?
Like
no, they are it's digital engineering, so drones, 3D print, machine learning, and a bunch of other stuff.
Cool.
So you see, this is like 100 square meter room with 3D printer here, and
Nice.
all the you can have really big things here.
Nice.
And then there is a second like major hall back there. We still have to clean it. We have 9 rooms in total with about 20 beds that can easily be upped to, let's say, 30. You see, I was up there. The internet sucks. Still, there's all the facilities. It used to be like the restaurant. These are the people. My favorite part of the house is
nice.
this spot here.
Kitchen.
It has, it's pretty well equipped by now.
Cool.
Like, in terms of kitchen, you see huge
yeah.
industrial
Yeah.
kitchen. It's massive, and I would really like to do pretty much the same thing that my brother does now this year for our stuffs, right?
Cool.
Yeah.
Like maybe 2 or 3 weeks, whatever. Bring P2P Foundation, token engineering community, people from Vienna, you guys, EXA, all in the same house for, I don't know, some weeks and work on shit.
A common
And even like
community.
Commons community, exactly that. And then like we could even do an overlap with my brother and these guys, because they're also interested in what we are doing, but they're more on the hardware and machine learning side of things. But we are already trying to see where with IoT there could be some overlap. Like basically have, have our session end 3 week and have an overlap of, let's say, 3 days, 5 days to think with these people, how can we work together?
Cool.
Yeah, that is the plan. And I would really like to have you guys on board.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. One day when travel is legal.
When they let Americans into Europe again.
Yeah,
Guess it's not that hard.
it's hard, dude. I can't get in without residency.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. Americans are not allowed in Europe.
Whoa.
I don't even know if Canadians are. Maybe.
I haven't even looked into it. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, this year is dead.
2020. We just skipped that one.
Yep.
Yeah. No, let's
West
go
Coast.
straight for next year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
you chill on the West Coast, I chill here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And next year we try again.
Reconvene. Yeah.
What city is that?
It's about 1 hour south of Vienna,
Okay.
but it's in the mountains. So it's at the foot of 2 huge mountains. It's a great area, like for hiking, climbing, rafting, all of that.
Especially in the summer, it sounds like.
Yeah, in the winter it's quite cold, like
Yeah.
super cold, and we haven't really resolved the heating issue completely. So yeah, definitely summer. I would aim for June, July, something like that. Early summer. I would go for
Yeah.
early summer,
Okay. That sounds good.
ideally, but let's see.
We can put it in our brains at least and start planting the seed around a crypto commons community gathering in June, early June.
Cool.
Planting the seed. We'll see. We'll see if it happens.
Will be like, yeah. All right, guys. I don't want to keep you.
I can do the last 5 minutes.
Here.
We're gonna let Jeff go, and because there's only 2 comments left.
Okay. Okay. I wouldn't mind. Then let's talk about the workers. No?
Oh, you want to go for it? Okay.
If you want.
Oh,
I also don't mind postponing it, but
no.
if you want, we can go for it.
Oh, I want it.
Okay.
But we can let Jeff go because I know you got.
Yeah, I will stay in the call just. What you guys are saying, but I'm gonna do a couple other things while I listen.
Okay.
All right. So,
Well,
okay.
do you want to leave the workers for last and skip to the next one?
Okay. I'm screen sharing again.
Not yet.
Yeah, give me a sec. Now?
Yep.
Yeah, okay, now I'm good. So, okay, let's leave the workers for last and go to the Commons dashboard, the least complex module, or not.
Not even close. It's by far the most complex. The only thing
Why?
because the complexity is in all the shit that your friends are hacking on, right? Like the thing that's simple is the user behavior and there aren't very many roles. You have people who want information, and then you have a module that gives them information. That's it, and that's nice. That's simple, but we're talking about like back testing data, like getting that data so that the data is accurate is a huge challenge. I mean, we're talking about modeling. Modeling is complicated, man. Modeling is very challenging to do right. To get the actual dashboard to show valuable predictions, valuable metrics is a very complex process. The simple part is, here's some software, right? And like I'm going to use it to, get information. Sure, right? And whereas the other modules are like, I put on my, my person hat. I'm a speculator. Oh, I'm a power hungry, a philanthropist. Oh, I'm a normal like community member. Oh, I'm someone who wants to be paid to do good work. And you have all these different hats, and you have the different ways that they interact with the system, and so it looks complex. But honestly, a few smart contracts and a front end is a lot, in my opinion, from my perspective. Like the crypto side of like having different actors interact with smart contracts is way more simple than like tuning a model to give good information. And then especially we want to be able to use, like if you check out some of my CAD presentations, where we want to be able to use the Commons dashboard to actually beta test governance decisions, right? Where you can say, okay, what happens if we vote for this to change this metric, you know? And dude, that's gonna be crazy. That's like to get that right, to get that working. It's gonna take years of back testing data. It's gonna and lots of like data science, like magic, you know.
Okay. So to be honest, I thought it was like I thought of the Commons dashboard as pretty much only a front end that brings together multiple sources of information that are already clean and cleaned by whoever other providers give you these data. So I didn't think of any computation happening there. Basically, just a window where you have all these nice little icons and stuff that tell you how shit is.
I mean, that's definitely the first step. But in the end, we have this CAD model, right, that we use to design the system. And then the dream of the dashboard is to take that model, take the data from the Commons, use that as it's running, use that data to tune this model and do a lot of work on the CAD model to get the behavior to simulate social interaction within this community. That simulating social behavior, very complex.
But then all the problems that you're talking about, they're all within CAD.
Yeah, it's all
okay. Okay. Because I treat CAD as a specific thing outside of the dashboard. So basically, in my vision, CAD is one of the many providers of data that are being shown or represented in the dashboard. So that CAD is something super complex. I've understood that far. I don't understand really what it does, but it's the magic shit.
Yeah.
Right.
CAD is the software that you would use to say, oh, CO2 is creating global warming, right? And here's the simulation. If we increase CO2 output in China, this is how it affects the rest of the world, right? That's what CAD can power, is this kind of simulation. And because I think that's where we hear about simulations the most, is the global warming, climate change stuff, right? But the way we want to use it is for modeling social systems, and specifically the social system of an economy. And it's honestly, if you go 2x speed on my last intro to CAD video, I go into the why behind CAD, and if you speed, I think you'll really like it, honestly, and it will inform you on a lot about where CAD has the power of really changing the way that we structure our society. I mean, maybe it's a stretch, but you know.
You were frozen for a while.
Oh,
just
sorry
a short while, but yeah, I'm gonna have a look at that video again.
I have a new one. I'll send you. I'll put the link in the doc.
Okay, Griff, do you mind if we skip the workers for today?
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm getting tired, and I need a fresh, because it's a complicated matter. All right, then. So my girlfriend is bringing me a beer.
Yeah.
And I'll stop the screen sharing. Yeah, I'll say cheers to you. And I really hope to see you next summer around here.
I'm sure we'll end up seeing each other.
Because for me, this house is for free, right? It's mine. And I really want to use it.
Yeah.
yeah, like now we are asking for 50 euros for 3 weeks just to barely cover our back. Might be that we go to 100 for a month, but somewhere around that, right?
That's amazing.
Basically, we have no costs for this year. It's only travels, and then we cook together every day. It's really a community thing here.
Oh, that's nice.
It's very nice and it's very productive.
Oh, that's great. Yeah,
Like we started printing stuff yesterday for the house, so we had a crash course on 3D printing, and then people swarmed out to find things that we need to print.
Wow.
And it was so cool. We're still printer is still running with stuffs that we need, like all kinds of things. You know, a holding thingy for your toothbrush. Yeah, we could buy one and stuff like this. And then people today, they made a 3D model of the house with a drone. So now we can print the house.
Wow. Wait, so you fly the drone around the house and then you can make a 3D model of it?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Like, it's very simple. I mean, it is operated very simple, right? You just load it in there and it's there.
The UX is good. Obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
Very
like for me, it looks simple.
Yeah, this is exactly how the Commons dashboard, the dream of the Commons dashboard, right? Is that it's simple for the user, but like, dude, you know how much work they probably put into to make that drone be able to create a 3D model of the entire house?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, but I know that it must have been
ridiculous.
Must have been good work that went into that. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's super cool, man. I love maker spaces and just the vibe, you know? That's what it's most about, right? Bunch of people there to do cool shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
But cool, man. Well, I can let you do your thing. Enjoy the beer. Like for me, you know, it's noon. So
exactly.
Yeah, it's a different vibe. But
yeah.
Thanks.
I mean, it's 10-ish, so now end of the day.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
thanks for the call.
Dude, thank you for the review. I'm sorry it took so long to have this call, but we really appreciate the perspective. You know, not many people have deep dive. No one has deep dive into the Commons stack from an external point of view as much as you have. So it's really valuable.
See. Ciao.